What up, world, man? It's your boy Starr, man. Today, we gonna talk about some taboo stuff. As y'all see by the title, you know what I'm saying. We talk about the whole slut walk, Amber Rose thing going on. Also, gonna talk about the whole gay pride, you know what I'm saying, thing, because it really all ties in together, as well as the results of living in an over-sexualized society, because that's really, I guess, the thread that kind of ties all this in. Also, when I do these videos, I just do them pretty much based off of just inspiration. Actually, there's two things that's going on right now. The Amber Rose SlutWalk and the whole gay pride thing has been going on this weekend and whatnot. And I live in Atlanta, so you know it's prevalent. It's always gonna be in your face down here. First thing I want to say before I get into this video or get into this discussion is we about to deal with truth. So leave your feelings at home. You know what I'm saying? That's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because truth never cared about no feelings. Okay, so that's just something you gotta deal with in life. You know what I'm saying? You can feel however you want to feel, but it has nothing to do with the truth. Okay. So let's just dive right in, man. First off, let's start with the whole slut walk concept. I have mixed feelings about it because the truth of the matter is there is some truth to what's at the core of the slut walk, but there's also some twisted bullshit mixed in with it. And slut walk is not the ideal name that you would even want to name something for that. And I'm gonna get into why that's not an ideal name. Basically because of the word slut, and we're gonna deal with that. But basically, at the core of the whole slut walk thing was what they're really trying to focus on, and I think they're a little off center for what they're trying to really focus on, is the over-sexualized society that we live in. And the truth of the matter is that over-sexualized society does weigh a bit more heavy on women as opposed to men. Simply because me as a man, I can take my shirt off right now and nobody really sees no problem with it. Nobody looks at it as, you know, taboo or anything, whereas a woman cannot. And the thing is, we ask ourselves why. You know, even in the Bible, you know, it says, you know, who told you that you were naked? You know what I'm saying? The human body is a beautiful thing. It's our fucking our vessel that transports our soul. And there's no reason we should be ashamed of the human body in any of its forms. Okay. The thing is, really through programming, through Western society programming more specifically, we've come to know shame about the human body and come to treat it certain ways and kind of disproportionately put that upon women. And one of the things when we talk about things like this that I kind of, you know, juxtapose things with is that right now, here today in 2017, you have people in other parts of the world who still pretty much walk around naked, men and women and children, you know, with little or nothing on. And they have societies that work fine. Now, by our flawed Western ideology, if you were living in a society or in a place where, you know, everybody's walking around half naked, you would have rampant rapes and molestation and all this going on because people can't control their sexual urges and needs and whatnot. But these societies don't have an absorbent or inflated number of, you know what I'm saying, sexual occasions. I'm not saying those societies don't have issues with, you know, rape and molestation and things like that, but it's definitely not on the level that we have here in Western society. Why is that? Because in those societies that still walk around barely clothed or whatnot, they haven't been the human body in that society has not been over-sexualized, okay? Women walk around all the time in societies with no clothes on, no tops or anything on, and the people in that society don't look at it as, oh my goodness, she's naked or whatnot. They haven't They haven't been trained that way mentally, because we've been trained mentally to look at things a certain way here in American society, in Western society. It's like I asked, like one example I use just kind of really mess with your mind is that for two of them. One, if a woman were to wear like a bathing suit, two-piece bathing suit bikini, with the little sheer little fishnet shit they want to be wearing out at the beach. Or down in South Beach, Miami, you know, they got the little Ocean Drive. They got the clubs that's right there on the shore and everything like that. If she was down there wearing that type of clothing, nobody really could see a problem with it. Because she's at the beach. She can wear a two-piece at the beach or whatnot. You know, so there's nothing wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? But if she would wear that same outfit, the little two-piece with the little sheer fishnet type shit, 40 miles away in downtown Miami, away from the beach, at a club, well, now she's be looked at as a whole, being, you know, scantily clad, dressed. When the only thing that changed was her environment. Okay, so if there was no problem with her showing her body on the beach, then why is there a problem with it, you know, elsewhere in the club? Why is it looked at as something else? Because ultimately, on the beach she could be partying, in the club she gonna be partying. So, you know, why is it seen different? That's just something that mentally that we look at differently, okay? Also, it's something I always laugh at. Women is like, you know, there's really no difference between a two-piece bikini and a two-piece lingerie outfit, okay? But one is seen as, oh, don't look at me, I'm undressed. Where the other one's like, yeah, look at me, I got my bikini body out. But it's the same goddamn contraption. Only difference might be the material it's made out of. Lord, lingerie might be more made out of lace, but it's still the same contraptions covering the same parts of the body, and the same parts of the body pretty much being exposed, okay? But again, that goes to how we've been programmed. And the other funny thing about that, because, you know, a lot of times women, you know, they stand strong in their right to wear things like that or whatnot, but and more specifically stand strong against men shaming them for doing that. But the reality is, lingerie and Victoria's Secret was actually created by men back in 1800s. It was created by men to dictating what women should wear. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of funny how everything flips around and shit. So the fact that our society is over-sexualized plays a part in all of this. Okay, now the thing is, human sexuality. Okay. And sex in general, okay, has a function. The function for sex is reproduction. That's the purpose, okay? Everything else outside of reproduction is some shit that we just threw in there and added on there, okay? If it's not to do with reproduction, it ain't got. It's not a key function or purpose of sexuality. I know a lot of people say, oh, you can use sex to express feelings and emotion. Yeah, that's cool, but that's not what it's created for. It's created to bring more people in this world. That's the purpose of sex. And people say, oh, it's pleasurable. Well, that's also tied into the purpose of it, because the purpose of life is to continue life. So in order for life to continue, it has to create certain things to ensure that life continues. And making sex a pleasurable experience is one of those things. Because just think about it, I ask people all the time, think about if sex was not pleasurable. How many of us would really be here? Literally, how many of us would literally be here alive? Because the majority of people, especially in modern society, don't plan on having children. When I mean they don't plan on having children, they don't say, hey baby, you know, I think it's time we have kids. Let's go in the bedroom and, you know what I'm saying, make some babies. Now, some people do that. You know what I'm saying? There are people who do that, usually married people and, you know, people who are in committed relations. But the vast majority of us, including myself, got here because two people were looking for pleasure and ended up getting pregnant. But that's the trick of nature. You know what I'm saying? Got to make it something desirable, because right now, if we look at the status of men and women are at odds. You know what I'm saying? Have always been at odds at different points in society. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller, but they've always been at odds. And if sex wasn't so damn enjoyable and pleasurable, men and women might not ultimately get along, because we have issues getting along, especially in today's flawed society. But men and women both love sex, and nature knew that, okay? And that's part of what keeps life going, okay? Because even with all these issues that we have with men and women seeing eye to eye, guess what? Babies still popping up everywhere. And there's only one way to make a baby naturally: a man and a woman coming together, okay? So, when you get into slut walking, okay, and slut shaming, as people say, which is judging, which from what my understanding is, judging women based upon, you know what I'm saying, their sexual promiscuity or their sexuality, their sexual activeness. Okay, a lot of people use the old term or the old saying, "Oh, what's good for the goose is good for the gander," and use the double standard that when men are promiscuous or have multiple women, it's looked at as a positive thing. As, oh, he's the man, he's a player, he's a pimp or whatever. Whereas if a woman has multiple partners promiscuous, she's looked at as a whore, she's a slut, or she's it's a negative thing. And the reality is, sex is a sacred act. It's the process by which we create life. It's just a very sacred act and should not be taken as casually as it is in today's society. Okay. With that being said, it is something that should be treated sacred. It should not be as freely given and freely, just done as it is. Okay, just because people I got a feeling I'm horny. Okay. When you're having those hormones being released, that's why horny and hormone, all that shit. When you have those hormones being released and you're getting horny, when a man looks at a woman and says, "God damn, she got a nice ass," subliminally, what's really going on is he's saying, you know what, she can carry some kids. You know what I'm saying? She is fit for reproduction. That is on the deep animalistic level. That's what we're saying. And on the converse, when a woman is getting wet and everything, and she's attracted to a man, on the deep subconscious level, what she's saying is, this man looks like a good protector and provider. This man looks like, a safe haven where I can have kids with. I think I'll have kids with him. I think I'll, allow him to impregnate me or whatnot. Now, even though on the conscious level, that's not what she's thinking. She might just be wanting to get another, just might be, feeling lonely or whatever. But on the deep subliminal level, that's what our hormones are trying to get us to do. Because again, life just wants to continue. It doesn't care what the process is. Life just wants to continue making life. Okay. Now the thing is, with that being said, like I said, sex should be more sacred. Okay. So the thing is, two wrongs don't make it right. Just because Western society has taught that, men should go sow their royal oats and, and it's okay for a man to be promiscuous and everything, doesn't make it right. That's just what we've been taught, what we've accepted for so long, okay? That's why even as children, when you're kids, you encourage the boys, oh, you ain't got a girlfriend, little man? Ah, man, if I was your age, I was doing this. Whereas at the same time, we do just opposite with the women. Oh, no boyfriends until you 18 to 21, or goddamn it. You know what I'm saying? It's a psychological issue, okay? Because we're teaching one to be a certain way and teaching the other not to be. When ultimately, we should be teaching them both the same thing, and that's to be sacred, to understand your sexual power, your sexual energy, and to protect it, and not just put it out there loosely. Because when you do share that sexual energy loosely, we have what we have down today in society. Kids with no fathers or parents that can't be at odds, because when the man and the woman came together and had that child, they wasn't on the same page, okay? They wasn't looking at it the same way, okay? They weren't focused on, this is something that's going to bring another life to this world, responsibility. They were just focused on trying to have fun and trying to catch a nut, okay? Or just trying to feel pleasure, which is hedonism, okay? For the sake of pleasure. If you do things just for the sake of pleasure and solely on the sake of pleasure, it's considered hedonism. Now, hedonism is not a bad word, or being hedonistic is not necessarily a negative thing, but because we were given pleasure receptacles for a reason or whatnot. But we are not to be controlled by that. And that's kind of what society has gotten to be, this over-sexualized society, is that everything is controlled by our lower natures are in control, okay? If it makes you feel good, do it. That's what we tell each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what we tell folks. And that's not the way things are supposed to be, okay? It's not just that, okay? Nothing wrong with pleasure and enjoyment, but everything has its place. You know what I'm saying? And when you let certain things run wild, uncontrolled, like sexual nature or ego, you end up having issues and problems like we have in today's society. Okay, so The other thing, like I said, part of what the issue with the slut walk is just the name slut, okay? Because look, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as like with the N word, with nigga, or even with gay folks, the word faggot or queer or whatever, okay? No matter how much you want to try to make that a term of endearment, you can never take away its original created definition, okay? Now, I know now, a lot of folks, nowadays, talk about nigga, it's connected to niggas, N-E-G-U-S, like on my shirt, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cali Bakers one time, man, all my niggas rich as Musa. But let's be honest, man. When you first heard the word nigga, you didn't know nothing about niggas or naga or the other interpretations of king or what N-E-G-U-S means. You didn't know about that. You knew about nigger because of the racial connotation and the racial connection to it, okay? Now, yeah, we did transcend it and make it a term of endearment amongst black people that we all use, including myself, okay? But that we can never get away from its original inception of being a negative word used against people of color by white people. That's why whenever white people still say nigga, even when they're trying to be light with it, as Bill Maher fucked up recently this weekend, it still stings because you can't erase the original inception of the word nigga away from it, okay? That's why we don't say stuff like, oh, we can have a nigga walk. Oh, you know what I'm saying? 100 black niggas of Atlanta. No, you don't use it because it still has that connotation to it, okay? Same thing with the word faggot, okay? Now, gay people might use it amongst themselves or whatnot, or queer amongst themselves, but you don't see gay people saying, oh yeah, it's faggot pride weekend. Oh, we have a faggot walk parade, okay? So, when you talk about slut walk, okay, and you're trying to create a endearing term for women or something, you know what I'm saying, to talk about the way that society has over-sexualized the female body, you know what I'm saying, more so than the male body. Slut is not the word you want to use, okay? Because no matter what Amber Rose is trying to make of the word slut or own the word slut or whatever, you can never separate it from its original inception, okay? Which was a morally irresponsible individual, you know what I'm saying, being sexually promiscuous with no discernment with who they deal with, okay? You can't take it away from that. So to say you're having a slut walk and to use that as the term you want to define it, it's going to put a negative tone. It's going to be hard for people, huh? Because it sounds like a bunch of prostitutes marching. That's just really what it sounds like. You say we have a slut walk, a bunch of hoes, a bunch of prostitutes what, marching to be prostitutes, to be proud of being prostitutes? What? Okay? So again, like I said, the root thing of the slut walk really, I think, is, or what they're really talking about, is the over-sexualization of society and how we, over-sexualize the female body. Because there really should be no issue with seeing a woman naked, okay? We shouldn't have, if we weren't so over-sexualized by, sex sales, that's marketing strategy that everybody uses. Can't sell a hamburger without having a woman taking a big-ass bite of a hamburger with her hair blowing in the wind, and she always got to get a little drip on her mouth. All that is sexual innuendo, okay? That people use because people have done studies on human psychology and how to trigger certain responses from people. And they know that sex is a very powerful trigger response in humans, period, okay? It's a very strong power. And that's why it's something we should really treat more sacred. But marketing companies understand the way that sex triggers things in the human body for both men and women. And so they use it as a weapon to get you to buy things, okay? Like they play your senses and things against you, okay? And they pretty much exploit your sexual power and your sexual energy for profit and for gain, and for manipulation purposes. So that's kind of where I stand with that. So I can't get on board with the whole slut walk thing because it's not. I think the way it's being presented is essentially a flaw. I think hopefully they essentially I think it's flawed with it. And I can't say that. My thing is instead of saying well men are promiscuous and there's nothing wrong with it. How about we stop teaching men that it's okay to be promiscuous? Okay, serious. I mean, because two wrongs don't make it right. Because basically, the logic that a lot of women use, or feminists and things use, that, oh, well, if men doing this okay, well, fuck it, I should be able to do this okay too. Which is pretty much two wrongs is gonna make it right. That's how people look at it, and that's why our society collectively just keeps degenerating. You know what I'm saying? Because we, instead of trying to correct shit, we just want to make shit okay and make people feel this. You know what I'm saying? Just placate things. Which kind of leads into, you know, dealing with like SlutWalk and oversexuality, leads into talks about homosexuality, and because like I said, all that plays in, and like I said, with heathenism, which ultimately is what homosexuality is. It's a form of heathenism. It's a form of pleasure, of pleasure seeking, so to speak, because the reality is, the human body was created for a man and woman to reproduce, okay? The human anus, whether male or female, was not made to receive anything. It's an exit point, okay? It's an exit point. Simply that, it's an exit point, okay? Now, if you choose to participate in anal sex, whether you're a man or a woman, you have free will to do that, okay? But it doesn't make it a natural thing, okay? It's not created for that purpose, okay? You're just kind of exploiting it, really, to be honest with you. So it's not a natural thing. Same thing with oral sex, you know, and I'll be one to say I love oral sex, but I don't get it twisted. That was not what the shit's created for, okay? It's another form of hedonism, of pleasure, you know, that the people choose to participate in, both male and women. I'm not condemning either one. I'm just stating facts. I'm stating the truth about it right now, okay? Because the reason I'm stating the truth about those things is because the reality is, you can have intimate relationships with men and women, or same-sex individuals, without it being sexual, okay? Intimacy is defined as closeness. That has nothing to do with sexuality. A lot of times we get the two confused when people say intimate, or they say we use as a keyword for sexuality or whatnot, or we've been intimate, which basically saying you've been close, which technically, you know, you should only be having sex with people that you're intimate with, that you're close with, okay? Because of how sacred sex is, and that is the fact that it's the reproduction process, okay? If you're close or intimate with somebody, you know, if you're having sex with somebody that you're not truly intimate with, y'all not truly connected on the same level, well, then that's how you have a lot of these relationship issues in single mothers and single parent homes, Ryan, because people didn't get to know them, didn't become intimate with the person they were dealing with before they chose to have sex with them and stuff. So they're not on the same page about what happens next. So with that being said, I honestly think that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of the core thing. And part of my ultimate, you know what I'm saying, issue with, you know, homosexuality and transgender and all that, is that it's just kind of, it's not natural. It's not a natural thing, and it goes against the laws of nature. You know, everything in nature has, there's polar opposites. There's a negative and positive, which is not negative is bad or positive is good, but just they're opposites, okay? Like a plug in a socket. Man and woman is one of that. And the thing is, when you understand that, you understand it's a whole concept, okay? Man and woman might be polar opposites, but collectively they are one essence, okay? And they are the cycle for which life continues, okay? When you go against that, well, you're directly opposing life. And what's the opposite of life is death. That's why I say, truth be told, you can't call something a lifestyle if it doesn't produce life, okay? You can't call something a lifestyle if it doesn't produce life. And man or woman and woman don't produce life, okay? Now, again, I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm just stating truths. It comes to another thing when people talk about, like, we get into transgender and stuff, okay? Well, at the core of transgender thing, people talk about, you know, people wanting to love themselves and be who they are. But transgender directly opposes that statement. Because if you truly love yourself and love who you are, you're going to love that which you were created as, okay? I'm a man. I love everything about being a man, okay? It's hard being a man sometimes. I admit that. But I wouldn't want to be nothing else other than a man, because that's what I was created as, and I love who I am, okay, 100%. And women should feel the same way. If you was born a woman, You should love the fact that you're a born woman and not want to be anything else. You know why? Because you're unique. Okay? Men and women are equal, but they are not the same. Okay? Equal does not mean the same. It just means equal. Okay? If I have 3 apples in my hand over here and I got 3 oranges in my hand, well, yes, they're equal, but they're not the same. They're equal. I got three, that's equal, but they're not the same. They have different functions. They operate different ways, okay? And that's the biggest thing that I think men and women have to understand. We're equal, but we function differently. We're not the same, and we're not supposed to be the same, okay? Everything a man does, a woman cannot do. Everything a woman does, a man cannot do. That's by design, okay? If men can do everything women can do, and women can do everything men can do, there will be no need for both of them, okay? Because one thing that nature doesn't do is nature doesn't create unnecessarily. Everything that nature creates has a purpose. When nature created man, man had a purpose, okay? When nature created woman, woman had a purpose that was separate from man. Now, jointly together, they have purposes that collectively involve them, but individually, they have 2 separate purposes and 2 separate functions. The man brings the seed. The woman nurtures that seed and gestates it, okay? Can't have one without the other. I know some super goddamn conscious folks will tell you that, the woman can produce sperm from her kneecap and impregnate herself. Nigga, we ain't seen none of that shit happen, okay? As far as we know, the only way that human life comes is when man and woman come together, okay? That's why I say that man and woman are God collectively, okay? Neither is higher than the other. Like I said, they're equal. On equal, nothing is higher. They're both equal. They're not the same, but they're both equal. So the man is the God, the same as a woman is the God. And when they come together, they make God in their image, or make man in their image. That's what sexuality and procreation is, okay? So if you feel deep inside somewhere that God or nature made a mistake and you weren't supposed to be what you are, well, you're having an internal. So if you feel deep inside or something that you're not what you're supposed to be on the outside, what you're really dealing with is an issue with loving yourself. That ultimately what it comes down to, because you should be able to love that which you were created as, and value that which you were created as. You know what I'm saying? Because if you value everything that you are, you're going to take care of that, health-wise and everything. And the same thing goes for folks who, for plastic surgery. That's pretty much all transgender is plastic surgery, okay? Cosmetic surgery, makeup, all that shit. Which really is, at its core, is somebody saying that I'm not satisfied with what God gave me, or with what nature gave me. I'm not satisfied with myself as him. Something must be internally flawed or wrong with me if I have to go get plastic surgery to make myself feel better, okay? That's a psychological thing. Because again, when you were created, you were seen as well. When you came to this world, you were perfect just the way you were. And you are unique. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. You're supposed to be like you. And the whole key is to learn to love that which you are and to let that be shown to the world. Not to have to, and doing that doesn't involve you making any outward changes. Like with makeup, that's what do you have to make up for? I always say, so if you're beautiful, if you're this, and you don't need makeup. If you accept the fact that, hey, God created me good enough, then you don't need enhancements, cosmetic shit like that. Hell, back in the old times, it was actually seen as sorcery. Makeup was considered sorcery because it's deceptive, it's trickery, as you see through looking at these before and after videos of cosmetic makeovers and stuff. It's sorcery because that's not what you are. If you can only smile at yourself in the mirror when you have makeup and all this extra shit on, then you're not smiling at yourself. That's not you in the mirror. That's something you create, something else. You should be able to smile at woke up like this smile, goddammit. And that's just real. I'm not a fan of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery anyway, unless it's necessary. And necessary being like, it's something like health-wise, like you were in a fire, you got 30-degree burns all over your body. Yeah, I understand you getting cosmetic surgery for that. Or even some women who sometimes have to have breast reductions because it causes back issue. They're well endowed and their body has issues. I understand there are certain issues where surgery is necessary, okay? Even cosmetic surgery can be necessary. But majority of situations is not, okay? And ultimately it comes with a lack of love for oneself. So that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, where I stand with things like, you know, the transgender and the homosexual community. And or the LGBT community, to be politically correct about it. And also the thing that I know a lot of, it's a big taboo thing in the black community or the black conscious community is what role can black LGBT members play in the black conscious movement, if any, or should they be like, how is that? That's a big taboo thing that goes amongst that. And my stand on that is that whatever their lifestyle decisions are, these are still your brothers and sisters, okay? And I feel the best way, and I feel that that's part of the reason why I can never condone or support or encourage putting down people, you know what I'm saying, hate crimes or anything against gay or homosexual people because of that nature. I can never support that. Even though I don't agree with their lifestyle, I can't support putting them down or trying to, you know, talk down on them or whatnot. For that reason, even though I don't agree with it, because that's not productive. That's not going to help anything. You know, you're not going to help anybody by shunning them or by, you know, talking about them. That they're not going to help them, and also you can't receive help from those you shun. Okay, and in this battle that we got going on, we need as many people as we can working together. Okay, and I think the best thing that pro-black conscious, black family-centered, focused people can do for their LGBT brothers is show them true brotherhood and sisterhood. I mean, because that's what the fraternities and all that other stuff, all we hear, brothers and sisters, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be showing that, yes, men can come together and lock arms as brothers, you know what I'm saying, and be productive and uplift one another, okay? Without any sexuality involved, without any taboo or other shit or perversions involved. Same thing for women. True sisterhood is being able to come together, being able to uplift each other, not hating on each other, not talking about each other, but to build each other up and to collectively be a force together without no necessarily of perversions or sexuality, anything involved, but to honor that which you are, to respect that, and to help you become better men and better women together by working with other men and other women who are working to better themselves. That's what brotherhood and sisterhood is about. And I think that's the best thing that we can do is show that example that, hey, you can have men can have bonds with other men, strong, close bonds, without it being anything of a sexual nature or perversion nature. And the same thing for women. Women can have close, strong bonds with other women, can uplift women, can be intimate with other women close without it being a sexual perversion nature. And that's the best thing I think that can be done. Now, I'm not in favor of promoting homosexuality or anything like that. If you choose to, you know what I'm saying, live that lifestyle or go about life that way, you have free will to do that. But when you're trying to force that view on everybody else, I have issue with that. Or we're trying to force that view on children's minds that are still developing. I have a big problem with that, okay? I have a big problem with that. Because like I said, it's not a natural thing. And you be pushing something, you're pushing something that's fundamentally opposed to life. Again, it's fundamentally opposed to life. And that is part of the big issue that the black family, black conscious community, or the black family-centered community has, is diametrically opposed to life, which is at the foundation of everything. So I can understand why folks have issue with that, or see issue with, having someone try to, lead a certain cause when they're, when fundamentally their lifestyle may be fundamentally opposed to that same cause. But again, we're all brothers and sisters. They're still our family, okay? And we gotta show them through example better ways, and we can't do that by showing hate reflecting, you know what I'm saying, negatively upon them. But with that, other thing I want to touch on, I don't even want to get into it, but I got to, is this whole, because it's tied in with everything with this over-sexuality, is that the kids, this whole pedophile agenda they're trying to sneak in there, Pizzagate, all that crazy shit you got going on. The pedophilia and molestation is something that is goddamn out of control. And I really look at that something totally different from the whole homosexuality, transgender thing, okay? There's no condonement, no excuse for pedophilia on any level. And the fact that it's as rampant as it is in the world is a sad, and I think we see the results of that is tied into the over-sexualization of society, because you're perverting something at its purest. Children are humans at their purest form, okay? Because children are humans before society and all the other stuff has brainwashed them, so to speak, when they're born to the world pure. So whenever you come against that, you get no tolerance for that at all, and there's nothing that should be presented as, oh, well, pedophilia is a social condition, or it's not a, you know what I'm saying, it's not a crime. No, this shit is wrong on all levels, and it's part of the reason why we have a lot of issues we have in society, especially with sexuality and other things like that, because it plays along with that. Because a lot of people show that a lot of people who are molested or victims of pedophilia, it happened from people they were close to. Even rape as well. Rape, molestation, most times happens amongst people they thought they could trust. Okay, whether it's family members, with close friends, boyfriends, or whatever, girlfriends, or babysitters, nannies, however it was, it happens too often to be someone that's close. Now, when you have someone that's supposed to be close, supposed to be trusted to you, someone you're supposed to have trust in, do that to you, it's gonna mess with that person's mind on a fundamental level for the rest of their life. Especially when it's happening when the transgression is happening when they're still a child, they're still developing, they're still trying to understand the world that they're in. And if you have a monster who takes away their innocence, okay? You scarred that person. I can't tell you how many women I've dated who have confided to me that at some point in their life they were molested or they were raped, okay? And the sad thing about it is that a lot of them have never went to authorities about it, never told many people in their family about it, because it could have even been family members. They don't. They live with that pain. They live with those scars, and it affects them as they grow up. Statistics even show the majority of people who are pedophiles, who do molest kids or whatnot, were actually themselves victims of pedophilia or molestation when they were young, okay? So you hurt people, you scar someone, and you create the cycle that they're going to end up scarring someone else, okay? Not only that, because we talk about slut walking and homosexuality and everything, that statistics also show a large number of women who are in the sex business, whether that's prostitution on the street level, whether that's pornography, which is a $1 billion industry, which I'll likely touch on in a minute, or just being overly promiscuous or strippers or whatnot. Common factor in a lot of those sexual-based professions is a lot of people who are active in it were victims of molestation or rape sometime in their life. Not all of them, okay? Can't just generalize everything, but by the number, a large number of people who get into the sex business on one level or another have been victims of rape or molestation, okay? Which is going into creating the degeneracy that we have in our society. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac said it as eloquent as you could. The hurt you give little infants fucks everyone, okay? And that's what we're doing when you talk about pedophilia, or you're talking about trying to indoctrinate children into homosexuality, or try to tell them it's okay and everything like that. That's something that is fundamentally opposed to life, is something that should be seen as acceptable, or even something that should be promoted. You're fucking the kids over, and ultimately fucking ourselves over, collectively as a society. So yeah, that's really how all that stuff ties in. You know what I'm saying? And even with it, to bring it back to the slut walking, because I told you we talked about porn, which is $1 billion industry. Okay, confession: when I was 18, a young man, I considered going into porn myself. Why? Because you get to have sex with beautiful women and you get paid for it. Those were my motivations. Okay, now I was young. I wasn't mentally where I'm at right now. You know, I was again, lower nature shit. Okay, but ultimately, part of the reason why I did is because one, I just felt I had more to give to the world than just my endowed, my sexuality and whatnot. I felt I had more to give to the world than that, and also I thought about the fact that in this society with technology and everything, once stuff is out there, that shit's pretty much out there, especially internet. Some shit's on the internet, it's gonna be with you forever. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the realities, you know what I'm saying? That even that people that I think about now, even with all the social media and posts and everything, that the stuff's out there, it's gonna be out there forever. And at some point in time, a lot of time, people want to leave those lifestyles alone. But it follows them, okay? Because of just how the way things are set up now. Now, pornography, prostitution, stripping, strip clubs, all that, the whole sex business. Let's talk about the sex trade, for instance, because it ties into everything. Slut walking, slut shaming, LGBT, pedophilia, it all ties over. It's all ultimately at the core of all this comes from an over-sexualized society and it just being out of control. The hypocrisy is that morally, we in Western world look at prostitution, stripping, and pornography as morally wrong or morally negative. However, prostitution, pornography, and stripping is all perfectly legal in Western society, much of Western society, which is the biggest juxtaposition. How can something be morally wrong but legal? You know what I'm saying? How can we play that? That two-sided sword. And the thing with pornography, specifically, pornography and stripping. Pornography specifically is $1 billion industry. Okay, $1 billion industry. And what that means is that if it's $1 billion industry, that means there's a lot of people involved in pornography. Okay, a lot. Any $1 billion industry is evidence that there's a lot of people involved in that. And some of the people involved in it may not be who you think you are. I think it was 2020 did a special some years back on the pornography business and about the money. You follow the paper trail. You have companies like ABC and Disney, just two that I remember offhand, that are invested in the porn industry. It's $1 billion industry, which means everybody's got their hands in it. Okay, and it's again one of those. It's one of those things that to Amber Rose's point, I'll give, like I said, everything that she's saying with the slut walk thing is not flawed, but some things are. But one thing about pornography is that most of us, most people at some point have watched pornography, have participated in pornography, been to a strip club, or probably have pornography on their computer right now or some shit. Okay, we all have indulged in it or participated in it or do participate in it, but then we all try to look down on those who are the actors who are in it, when we are the ones who are actually supporting their lifestyle decisions by buying into porn, or supporting it, or and all that. But we still want to look at it or judge those who participate in it as if they're the bad people. When it takes two. They wouldn't, like I always say, there's supply and demand, cause and effect. People wouldn't be doing something if there wasn't a response to it. I remember one. I was over the West End, man, around like Ashby area. Late as hell. We used to back when I used to run the streets a little bit. But me and one of my partners, man, we was outside smoking a blunt like 2-something in the morning, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, right? And we see prostitute, walking up the street, one of the crackhead prostitutes. You know what I'm saying? Which are not the pretty women prostitutes that y'all see on TV, the ones that I'm talking about, the ones you see that be drugged out and stuff, and really like on the down and out, really. But we're thinking to ourselves like, yo, who is out here, you know what I'm saying, picking up these crackhead, drugged out prostitutes, man? They don't even look like nothing. You can't. But again, supply and demand is always cause and effect. And the reality was, as we said, before we could even finish that blunt we sent up there, we saw two customers come pick up this lady. One came up, about a couple minutes later, came back and dropped her off. And shortly after they did, somebody else did. So somebody is interacting with these prostitutes or whatnot. So that's why they're out. They're part of the reason why they're out there, okay? That supports the reason why they're out there. The reason I bring that up is because that's pretty much the whole same relationship with everything in the sex industry. And that's why it's kind of hard to try to condemn something when you're a participant in it. And it's not a whole lot different. It's like this. Just like is a trick or a John picking up that crackhead prostitute, that trick or that John becomes you when you end up watching porn. You know what I'm saying? You're supporting that action, so to speak. And because it's $1 billion industry, there's a lot of people supporting that action. So it stands that there's money to be made there. And in our society, it's legal to do it. You can go out to Las Vegas and prostitute on the street and pay taxes for it, or in the brothels and the little bunny ranches and all that stuff. And it's legal. It's perfectly legal. Massage parlors, it's perfectly legal in Vegas and in certain little sex. But like I said, in Vegas, they pay taxes for it. Well, like I tell somebody, pornography is pretty much prostitution in a controlled environment. Because principally it's the same thing. These women who your favorite porn star is doing that because they're paying her to do it. Because you're paying attention to it. Okay, that's the whole cycle of it. Okay? Now, the messed up thing, and also another reason why I did end up going in the industry, the actual actors in the industry get paid poorly at the bottom. Just like on the street. The woman actually walking the street and taking the risk and doing all the stuff is not receiving the bulk of the money that everybody else is, the managers and stuff like that. Same thing in pornography. On the street, her pimp is getting all the money. Let me correct that. In pornography, it's the managers and the production companies that's getting all the money, that's getting all the billions. The actors themselves not making a whole lot. I mean, they getting paid by saying, but compared to the money, compared to the billions that are being made, they're not seeing that. But it's something that we all participate in. Same thing with stripping. There's money in it. Cats go to every weekend or all through the week. Cats go and blow their checks on strip clubs. Okay, and like I say, they're all closely related. I said when a woman's stripping, a man is paying for a fantasy. You know what I'm saying? He's paying to fantasize about what it would be like with that woman. Now, as is known, in some cases where stripping crosses into prostitution and VIP rooms and other stuff, private parties and stuff. That's not to say that every woman that strips is prostituting, but it is something that goes along with it. Like I said, it's not a whole lot of difference. Stripping, you paying for a fantasy. Prostitution, you paying for a reality. Okay, you paying to say, hey, we gonna that stuff I fantasize about, I want to do that with you, and that's what you're paying for. Okay, and when you're watching porn, you're paying to vicariously experience something. Okay, through the camera and what they have set up. And the only difference between a woman prostituting on film and on the street is this is a controlled environment. Because the pimp on the woman on the street is the same thing as the manager, you know what I'm saying, in the industry. They find the work, you know what I'm saying? That's the middleman. The pimp helps the prostitute on the street find the trick, you know what I'm saying? If I send her out there where the money is, send her to the place where she needs to go to find the jobs and tricks who's going to get her there. She take care of that. Same thing a manager do with a porn star. He take her to the industry, take her to the different production companies, you know, get her, show off the material, show off her pictures and stuff to get her work, to get her contracts and whatnot. And in both situations, everybody involved understands what they're involving themselves in. Even more so in the pornography industry, where they actually have contracts where you write out what's going to happen and you sign a contract, they sign up for that. Okay? Now, like I said, it's a controlled environment. You can say time out in the industry. Time out. You can stop in the middle of a scene if you need to, or if something's not right or you're feeling uncomfortable. On the street, it's not a controlled environment. That's the real main difference. Okay, on the street, it's dangerous. It is very dangerous because all type of crazy people out there, and they treat prostitutes or women who work in the sex trade as if they're not important because of that. When the reality is we're all human beings. You know what I'm saying? No matter how we choose to go about living life, okay? Whether you LGBT, whether you're a stripper, porn star, prostitute, whatever, we all human beings, okay? We all are entitled to general respect as a human from one human to another, okay? And I know people always say, oh, a woman got to give a man something to respect, okay? There's levels to that. Everybody, whoever you meet, whether you know anything about them or not, whether it's a stranger or a bum on the street, you give them general respect, okay? And that same goes for prostitutes, strippers, or whatever. Okay, even if they live in that lifestyle, they have a certain level of decency and human decency you give, and everyone is entitled to, okay? Until someone proves you or shows you something that they're not entitled to that same respect, okay? Now, I'm not saying you gotta worship the whore or the prostitute or the woman that's living that lifestyle or whatnot, but you don't have to go out of your way to put them down or to treat them as any less of a human being because they're using whatever means they see to get to a destined end or whatever. And that, you know what I'm saying? Plus also, you definitely can't, you know what I'm saying, try to talk down on someone when you're participating in it, you know. Cats always say, oh, hoes ain't shit and all shit, whatever, but you can't be the one tricking off on all the hoes and still trying to say this, you know what I'm saying? Because you're the trick, you're the John, you're the one doing it. And I know they say it ain't tricking if you got it with some bullshit, because it's no matter if you got it or not, it's tricking. It's the same principle. You're still giving money in exchange for a fantasy or a reality. You're tricking off on something. You know what I'm saying? But kind of got off course. But that's kind of just another layer of just the oversexualized society and how we all play a part in it. Okay, we all do. Okay, so you can't, unless we really ready to really reorganize some shit and really take some things differently, you know, or take a different perspective on things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of work that got to be done on ourselves and stuff, and a lot of ways that we got to change the way we look at things. Ultimately, the core thing that I want to say through all of this, we're dealing with sexuality and everything, is that we as a people, I think, need to be more sexually responsible and more sexually accountable to one another, and sexually responsible for our energy and for the reality of that, okay? And I tell folks, like, when you have sex, you're trying to have babies. That's what sex is for, okay? Even though you made it, I'm just trying to get a nut. Everything in your body and your anatomy is saying that you're trying to have a baby. That's why everything happens the way it does. The only reason you ejaculate, men, is to impregnate. That's what the only reason the body does, even if you masturbate by yourself, okay? What you're doing is you're stimulating the process of creating a child for the body. You're putting the body in a state of thinking that, okay, it's time to produce a child, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you have ejaculation, okay? What we've come to decide is that, well, we just want to feel it, but we don't want to respect the process and its purpose, okay? And then when you mess up, you want to kill a baby, which is what abortion is, you know what I'm saying? Because trying to say that a human fetus is not life is just as dumb as trying to say that a tadpole is not life, okay? A human fetus grows to be a human just like a tadpole grows to be a frog. It's one process. You can't separate one from the two. At the moment of inception, that's life, okay? Anytime when you stop that, you're stopping the progress of life. If you stop an embryo, you stop a fetus from fully gestating into a human being or to a baby or whatnot, you're stopping the process of life. That is killing, murder, whatever you want to call it. You're stopping the process of life. You have to respect that life, okay? And I think that people would be more sexually responsible. There's a lot of things in our society that would naturally correct themselves, okay? If you didn't have a lot of pedophilia, molestation, and shit going on, there's something going on since the age of whatnot and rape and stuff going on, you wouldn't have as much sexual deviancy, because I believe that's where a lot of that comes from. Okay, from introducing things to at a young age to children, and it's even the children of today. They're growing up. A child born right now has to digest everything that's going on around them. Okay, a child born right now sees transgender, sees LGBT, sees rap music videos, sees movies, sees everything, sees the way people live, sees the way people treat each other on the street, sees reality TV, sees all this, and it has to process it. Process what is okay, and part of how it processes it is about observing how the people, the adults, handle everything. Okay? So if a child right now is looking at the world as it is right now, today, 2017, that's a lot for that child to try to process and see their way through. That's why I'm not a fan of trying to promote certain things and whatnot, because it's a lot for a child to process who doesn't even have his wits about him just yet. It's still trying to get a grip on this world and find its place in this society. And basically through the flaws in our society, we are participating in a cycle of ultimately degeneration that compounds from generation to generation. And you can't separate yourself from that, because we all are part of it, ourselves included. We all are part of it until we make necessary changes collectively to reverse things or change things, start being more sexually responsible, start being more sexually acceptable of the human body. It's just the body, okay? It's your body. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? In all its forms. You know what I'm saying? And understand the purpose of sex and everything. That's the purpose of it, is to create life. So guess what? Creating life should be a great feeling. You should feel good when you're creating life, because you're creating life, man. But I know I touched on a lot of stuff, man, but